El Paso goes by many names. Sun City, 915. We are known for history, culture, food, and art. In the early 1900s, development and commerce in El Paso revolved around mining and trade. The nationally recognized mission trails are just one example of the many historic sites that portray our region's rich indigenous and colonial history. Since then, El Paso has evolved, and so has its people. We take great pride in nourishing a skilled and capable workforce, with 72% of our population being bilingual. We stay competitive among other large U.S. cities. The region's border location boasts a major trade port. It allows competitive local manufacturers to produce at maximum capacity. Fleet systems are capable of worldwide distribution of parts and products. Our state-of-the-art higher education systems are nationally recognized. The Texas Tech University Health Sciences Center El Paso, the nation's first comprehensive health sciences institution on the U.S.-Mexico border, provides students the opportunities to become doctors, nurses, and researchers. The University of Texas at El Paso offers 74 bachelor's, 74 master's, and 22 doctoral programs. Local government agencies and other economic development organizations help industries become established and expand in our community. The County of El Paso is great for business, but we also keep true to our southern hospitality with plenty of outdoor recreation options. It's easy to keep active in El Paso. We are constantly looking for new industries interested in expansion. We want to offer our help and support in the process. No matter the name, El Paso is proud, strong, progressive. We are El Paso. Come see what we can do together.
You are watching the broadcast of the El Paso County Commissioners Court meetings. Commissioners Court meetings are held every Monday at 9:30 a.m. on the third floor of the El Paso County Courthouse, located at 500 East San Antonio in downtown El Paso. These meetings are open to the public. The meeting will start momentarily.
The Escarrete Golf Course has a new number. You can now call the Pro Shop for daily specials and tee time information at 915-771-2392.
The County of El Paso Public Works Department is offering sandbags at no cost or requirements to the public. The sandbags are outside of the facilities and are available 24 hours a day. The location of the county facilities are the following: the Road and Bridge Fabens Warehouse, located at 1331 North Fabens Street in Fabens, Texas, 79838. The Road and Bridge Canutillo Warehouse, located at 191 Canutillo Avenue in Canutillo, Texas, 79835. And the Road and Bridge Montana Warehouse, located at 14698 Van Lane, El Paso, Texas, 79938. Don't wait in line, pay online. Visit the Financial Recovery Division website at http://www.epcounty.com/budget/financialrecovery.htm to make your payments online or find out more about our kiosk locations. We now accept payments on misdemeanor, felony, and justice of the peace cases.
You can now watch Commissioners Court meetings on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and search for El Paso County Commissioners or El Paso County, Texas. Subscribe to our channels to see our latest videos.
Did you know the County of El Paso's Purchasing Department is responsible for ensuring that all items and services needed by various county departments are purchased in the manner required by the state of Texas? Whether through formal sealed bids or smaller dollar quotations, the county purchasing team is dedicated to finding the best contracting return on your taxpayer dollars. Additionally, the Purchasing Department is responsible for the tracking of inventory within the county and properly disposing surplus through public auctions. For questions about how to become a vendor and compete for county contracts, or to learn more about public auctions, please contact us at telephone number 915-546-2048.
The 346 District Court Judge Angie Juarez Barril started the El Paso Veterans Treatment Court program in 2012 for veterans and active service members that have been arrested and charged with a felony or misdemeanor criminal offense. To be considered for this specialty court, the statutory criteria includes be a veteran or current member of the United States Armed Forces, including a member of the Reserves, National Guard, or State Guard, and suffer from a brain injury, mental illness, or mental disorder, including PTSD, or be a victim of military sexual trauma, all occurring or resulting from military service. Call Sylvia Serna, Veterans Program Director, at 915-546-2119, or email her at sserna@epcounty.com for any information.
Did you know that the County of El Paso's fixed asset control and inventory disposal is handled through the Purchasing Department? Throughout the course of each business year, the county holds live public auctions to dispose of aged equipment, vehicles, furniture, and other items that are no longer needed. To find out about upcoming auctions or to learn more about the county's inventory disposal process, contact the Purchasing Department at telephone number 915-546-2048.
You are watching the broadcast of the El Paso County Commissioners Court meetings. Commissioners Court meetings are held every Monday at 9:30 a.m. on the third floor of the El Paso County Courthouse, located at 500 East San Antonio in downtown El Paso. These meetings are open to the public. The meeting will start momentarily.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Monday, September 23rd, 2019. Commissioners' Court is meeting in regular open session. Would you please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by an invocation by Pam Ferroni.
Seated.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning.
County officers, and all who are here today. If you so choose, please join me as I pray. Holy God, maker of heaven and earth, author of all life, we acknowledge your presence in this chamber today. Thank you for each one here who has been entrusted with representing the wonderful people of El Paso County. Guide them and grant wisdom for the business at hand. We lift up to you all who work in this building, each one who in their own way is charged with the responsibility of representing the people and business of this county. Lord, the personal needs within this court and this building are great. There are serious health needs, financial pressures, and broken relationships. May you draw the needy and brokenhearted close as they look to you for help. Comfort them, encourage them, provide for them. May you look upon each one with grace and mercy as they seek you for answers to their deepest needs. From the book of Jeremiah, we are told, "Then you will call upon me and go and pray to me, and I will listen to you. And you will seek me and find me when you search for me with all your heart, and I will be found by you." This morning, I bind the spirit of unbelief and loose a hunger and thirst for you in the hearts of those who work within this building. I pray that you will bring us all into the knowledge of your truth and that you will uphold each one of us with your righteous right hand. In the name of your most holy and precious Son, Jesus, amen, and so be it.
Thank you, Mrs. Ferroni. Mrs. Ferroni just informed me that one of our detention officers last night was killed in a car accident, and I still don't have the name of the officer, but we do have. Joseph Gomez, detention officer, died, I guess, early this morning. So our prayers go out to his family, and another hard notice for El Paso.
Judge, if it's okay with
Absolutely.
you, can we have a moment, a quick moment of silence for the detention officer?
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, I hope you had an opportunity to enjoy our El Paso weather this weekend, which is a beautiful weekend, and hope you have a very productive week going forward. Thank you. Caesar?
Item number 4, consent agenda. The consent agenda is composed of items 4A through 4R. Are there any items that members of the court or the public would like to pull for individual discussion?
Commissioners?
Item F, and here after item 13, because it has to do with the elections and voting equipment.
Okay. Item F for Commissioner Stout. Are there any others?
Motion to approve the rest?
Second?
Commissioner Perez?
Aye.
Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson? Judge Samaniego?
Aye.
Motion carries. Brings us to item number 5, public comment. We do have one guest signed up to speak today. We have Mr. Richard Daube. Oh, I'm sorry. Are there any other members attending that would like to speak in public comment?
And then we'll have Richard when the item comes up, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
So there'll be no action for public comment. This brings us to item number 6, presentations. Accept the Telly Award given to the County of El Paso for its promotional marketing video showcasing the quality of life, business, and culture in our community.
Morning, Judge and Commissioners.
Good morning.
First of all, thank you for having us this morning. We have an exciting award that we wanted to share with not only you all, but also everyone in the county. So I'm going to hand things over to Adriana Acosta with my team. She is going to go over the presentation and announce the team that we have with us here today from Spectrum.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Adriana Acosta, Business Retention and Expansion Coordinator, Economic Development. Earlier this year, our Economic Development team, along with Spectrum Reach, launched the county's marketing video, which we will go ahead and play shortly. This video showcases the quality of life, promotes the county's culture, and wants to attract business. This video is the recipient of the prestigious Telly Award, a national honor in the TV and video industry, recognized both for the quality and content of the video. And at this time, we would like to play the video.
Thank you.
El Paso goes by many names. Sun City, 915. We are known for history, culture, food, and art. In the early 1900s, development and commerce in El Paso revolved around mining and trade. The nationally recognized mission trails are just one example of the many historic sites that portray our region's rich indigenous and colonial history. Since then, El Paso has evolved, and so has its people. We take great pride in nourishing a skilled and capable workforce, with 72% of our population being bilingual. We stay competitive among other large U.S. cities. The region's border location boasts a major trade port. It allows competitive local manufacturers to produce at maximum capacity. Fleet systems are capable of worldwide distribution of parts and products. Our state-of-the-art higher education systems are nationally recognized. The Texas Tech University Health Sciences Center El Paso, the nation's first comprehensive health sciences institution on the U.S.-Mexico border, provides students the opportunities to become doctors, nurses, and researchers. The University of Texas at El Paso offers 74 bachelor's, 74 master's, and 22 doctoral programs. Local government agencies and other economic development organizations help industries become established and expand in our community. The County of El Paso is great for business, but we also keep true to our southern hospitality with plenty of outdoor recreation options. It's easy to keep active in El Paso. We are constantly looking for new industries interested in expansion. We want to offer our help and support in the process. No matter the name, El Paso is proud, strong, progressive. We are El Paso. Come see what we can do together.
Very nice.
At this time, I would like to present to you the Spectrum Reach team that we had the opportunity to collaborate with. We have the General Manager, Mr. Ray May.
Good morning.
Vanessa Tina, the Account Executive, and Mr. Joel Marcus, the El Paso producer.
Welcome. Good
They
morning.
will go ahead and provide a short presentation for you.
Thank you.
Morning. Thank you so much for having us today. We are very proud of this recognition. The tally is best described as a national recognition. It's similar to what an Emmy would be for television or Grammys would be for music industry. The tallies are a national recognition for superior work in the advertising field. I know that Ray has a lot more on these specifications.
Don't really have a lot more specifications, but would like to thank you, Judge, Commissioners,
Thank you.
everybody here, for allowing us to work on the project for the county. It is an honor. There's over 12,000 entries nationwide amongst the different categories, and we're proud to present you with this tally on behalf of our work and your team's work. Thank you.
Excellent.
Great job.
You get one more speaker.
Commissioners, judges, thank you for having us today. It was an honor to work on this project. One philosophy that I've always had when it comes to creative is always make it look national. So there's always that term like, oh, it looks El Paso, that's local. No, we are national, and it was an honor just to bring any creativity to this, especially when the county or any client gives us the creative outlet or just the opportunity to do what we do best. And it was an honor, and in spite of tragic events that happened recently, it's always good to share this kind of material or this kind of message with El Paso, so El Paso can and will remain strong. So thank you.
Thank you. You know, how exciting is that? You do a video for promotion. Now it really catapults to another level by winning the award. So many more people will be able to see it, and then you can promote the award, so you can promote El Paso kind of thing. So this is, I can just imagine, who got the call, or how does that happen? Do you get a phone call? You get the call.
So the time when it comes to submit entries for the Telly Awards every year, we go through our arsenal of what we did and what we're most proud of, and obviously this was the most essence of everyone. So at that point, we kind of send it off, play the waiting game, and then they come back and say, you've won, basically.
Oh,
Awesome.
It has to be exciting. I mean, this is really exciting.
By the way, Charter Communications took over Time Warner not too long ago. So when that happened, we became the second largest cable broadband provider in the nation. We're the advertising end of what Spectrum Charter Communications done. We've lit up in 99 of our markets nationwide. So thank you for that. It's been a real pleasure. We've got calls from New York, from LA, all of our larger markets. Just thrilled for the work that we've done on behalf of the county.
Yeah, if somebody didn't know about El Paso, they know now, right? So
In fact, I've taken a number of calls from people I work with all over the nation on El Paso. So.
And thank you for your partnership as well on the business side of it, and what you do for economic development and for our workforce. And so what a great partnership, and then the outcome of having this award is really special. So thank you.
We look forward to working with your team. You've got a wonderful team.
Well, thank you. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And just to show you briefly the positive feedback that was generated on the social media platforms. We don't have a Facebook account, but Spectrum reached us, and they were able to share the video to over half of the people viewing the video shared it. With our Instagram account, we were able to reach up to 84% of our audience, and we had lots of views on the YouTube video. So this video did generate a lot of positive feedback in our community and also nationwide.
Excellent.
Thank you.
One interesting thing, Vanessa has a very good Instagram account, LinkedIn account. Tell them how many views the LinkedIn
Facebook. Yeah, so I shared it on my personal. I have a professional page and I also have a personal page, so I shared it on both. It spread really, really quickly. and I got over 4,000 shares
Wow.
and over 50,000 views within a few days. So it just continued to grow exponentially. So I don't have the exact numbers now because it's still being shared. And it was, it's continuing to grow. So it's awesome. I have people from out of town asking, if I can share the video with them so that they can post it themselves wherever they're at around the nation.
And it'll be more shares. All the county employees that are listening, make sure you do that, and then we will too.
Follow me at Vanessa Tanner.
Well, thank you.
Thank you again for having us. If you all would ever like to visit the statue, you know where to find it. It's in our office on the 3rd floor. So
Yeah,
it
we
is a
could.
beautiful
Could we-
statue. So
Can we take a picture?
yeah, absolutely. I also think coming off the heels of the Emmys last night, this time couldn't have been better. So next year Emmys.
Thank you very much. Enjoyed it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Item number 7, Commissioners Court. Discuss an event on November 5th, 2019, honoring El Paso County veteran employees for their service to our nation and to the El Paso County community.
There we go. Judge, Commissioners, all those attendants, we have a considerable number of veterans in our community. We have a number of veterans that work for us within the county, whether it be the Sheriff Department or throughout the county. I feel it's necessary that we do something to recognize them during the period of Veterans Day. Veterans Day is November 11th. We're going to do and this is no expense to the county, none, that recognize all the veterans who are employees of El Paso County. November 5th, we have at the County Coliseum. We will honor them by giving them a pin, which we will have received already. We order them, and we'll provide them lunch for all those in attendance. So any and all veterans who are employees of El Paso County are invited to be at the El Paso County Coliseum between the hours of 11:30 to 1 p.m. November 5th. And there's any questions?
No, excellent. I know that you had brought that opportunity, and I'm glad that it came to fruition. I think we can never do enough for our county employees, our veterans. So I hope a lot of people go, and I hope that we do get the word out.
Right.
Thank you, Commissioner Roberts.
And we hope that the word do get out to all the employees or intended. What we plan on doing once we get the information out. All employees that are veterans, we're asking you to provide us a photograph of you when you're in the military. And we're going to have all those photographs recorded and we'll put on a loop. And as the event goes on during the course of that day, during that time period, the photographs will show up on the screen. It'll be a loop where so everyone, we're asking each of you to provide us a photograph. One is when you're in the military, what branch of service you're in, and what your rank and how long you served in the military. We're going to have some recognition for you, and we have some table setups with we're ordering the flags for each branch of the service, And for those who do not know, there are 5 branches of the service. 5: Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, and Coast Guard.
I forget that sometimes.
There's a company that prints the pens. We ordered from them, and we had Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines. Didn't have Coast Guard. So I'm going to talk to this company and let them know that there are 5 branches of U.S. military service. So yes, we're asking you for November 5th from 11:30, start at 11:30. Lunch will be provided free of charge. All we ask you to do is show up and provide us in advance. Hopefully you can provide by the, November 5th. If we can get, hopefully we receive the photographs by the 15th of October. There'll be plenty of time to get everything done that we need to do. Make sure we put out, this will be a great event for everybody in attendance. So come on, come all. Look forward to seeing you. And for those those veterans who desire to bring their family members, I'll extend the invitation to them as well, but I need to know how many in your family will be coming, so I'll make sure we have enough food for you. So,
Thank you for your leadership on this initiative. Thank you, Commissioner Robinson.
Actual concurrence approval.
The item's not posted for action, so it's for informational purposes right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christina.
Item number 8, discuss and take appropriate action per Local Government Code 81.005, terms of court meetings. A, at the last regular term of each fiscal year of the county, the Commissioners' Court by order shall designate a day of the week on which the court shall convene in a regular term each month during the next fiscal year.
Judge, Commissioners, this is an annual item where the court sets its regular scheduled meeting date for the following year. As you're aware, the meetings have generally been scheduled for Mondays at 9:30. And if the court would like to continue that, we need a motion and a second to put that order into the record.
Move.
Second. Judge, I have a question. I know that from the city side, as far as the charter is concerned, there was a requirement that we have a certain number of meetings. Is that a requirement for the county?
I don't believe there's a minimum requirement.
No, it just talks about having a monthly meeting, at least through the statute, and you don't have to have more than one actually during a quarter. So there's nothing set, there's nothing standard. You all have extended that in terms of your meeting date to, at least in addition to your regular scheduled meetings, to also have those special meetings once a month to discuss additional business. But there's nothing set or required to do so. You could have more, you could have less, should you wish.
I just want to make sure it's clear, because I know there was a requirement by charter for the city. We have a certain certain amount of meetings. I just want to make sure that there's no requirement from the county. So thank you.
So that motion, Commissioner Stout, was to continue to meet Mondays at 9:30 a.m.
Correct. Second.
Commissioner Perez.
Aye.
Commissioner Leon.
Aye.
Commissioner Stout.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Judge Samaniego.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 9, Judiciary and Corrections. Approve and authorize the county judge to accept the County Essential Services Program Critical Incident Response Grant Award in the amount of $271,317, funded by the Governor's Office. The grant award is to reimburse the county for expenses incurred by the Sheriff's Office and the constables as a result of the August 3rd, 2019 mass shooting. No county match is required. Contract number 2019-0658.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
For the record, Leticia Vizcaino, Grant Analyst. The item before you is to accept this grant award, reimbursing the county for expenses incurred by the Sheriff's Office and the constables during the August 3rd mass shooting incident. It is funded by the Governor's Office in the amount of $271,317.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Commissioner Perez.
Aye.
Commissioner Leon.
Aye.
Commissioner Stout.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Judge Samaniego.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Leticia.
Thank you.
Item number 10, litigation, justice, and law enforcement. Approve and authorize the county judge to sign the resolution and annual renewal of the Child Protective Services Grant for the year 2019-2020 with the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services in the amount of $916,101.12 as the county's grant match and a federal reimbursement in the amount of $318,363.09. Funding is available in General Fund Child Protective Transfer Out Grant Match. Contract number 2019-0636.
Good afternoon, County Judge, Commissioners. Christina Sanchez, Assistant County Attorney. This item was placed on the agenda by the County Attorney's Office. What this is the budget for our CPS unit. These are for reimbursements from the federal government. We've had this item on the agenda since probably 1993, and what these funds do, they help fund our CPS unit, which goes to training, which goes to our staff, which goes to attorney time. And so we are asking that this item be approved. There are, this item, I believe, is reimbursed on a quarterly basis. And so these amounts are also set by the state. And so I just ask for your favorable consideration and your approval of this item.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Perez.
Aye.
Commissioner Leon.
Aye.
Commissioner Stout.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Judge Samaniego.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 11, approve and authorize the county judge to accept the Office of the Governor, Criminal Justice Division, and Homeland Security Grants Division Statement of Grant Award for the El Paso County Border Prosecution Unit for the District's Attorney's Office in the amount of $1,375,000 from September 1st, 2019 through August 31st, 2020. And further authorize the county judge to sign the accompanying resolution. There is no county match required. Contract number 2019-0654.
So moved.
Good morning, County Judge, Commissioners. I'm Karen LaRose, First Assistant District Attorney. This is the renewal of the Border Prosecution Unit grant for fiscal year 2020. There is no county match. There has never been a county match to this grant. It provides resources and training up and down the Texas-Mexico border, and our own district attorney, Jaime Esparza, is the administrator of this grant. So we ask for your favorable approval of the acceptance of the grant by the county judge and the signing of the resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Perez.
Aye.
Commissioner Leon.
Aye.
Commissioner Stout.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Judge Samaniego.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Item number 12, economic development. Approve and adopt the Mission Trail Comprehensive Master Plan.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Andrea Hutchins with the Economic Development Department. I have with me today Valerie Venecia, our Heritage Tourism Coordinator, who is going to present to you the Mission Trail Comprehensive Plan.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Valerie Venecia, Heritage Tourism Coordinator with Economic Development. And hopefully this is starting to look more familiar for you all. We've provided links and copies, and at this time, we're revisiting the presentation that was provided to you in July by Mr. Jason King, the project director from Dover Cole & Partners. And so we took the feedback that was provided and some of the questions that were asked and added some additional language. Just a really quick review, the purpose of the plan to help give us some direction as we make improvements to infrastructure, as we address different economic development strategies, and make sure that all of the improvements that are made fit what the residents and tourists themselves would like to see. We are now, these are some photos of the public charrette that was held last fall at the tribal courthouse in Isleta. We'll be revisiting all of these different stakeholders after the plan is hopefully adopted here shortly to start establishing work plans and different schedules and dividing up different projects between both short-term and long-term. These were the 5 major ideas or concepts that residents and stakeholder partners expressed they wish to see us use as some of our larger initiatives. And one of the aspects that's very heavily focused on throughout the plan is agriculture, which is interesting because that's a key strategic item on the county's strategic plan. And some of the strategies that are already taking place in San Elizario are really helping to pave the way for expanding that, not only throughout the entire mission trail, but throughout the county. Additional language was also, if you recall, we discussed the fact that the U.S. is not currently a partner in UNESCO. However, we still want to take that into consideration for a later date because it is a lengthy process to become a UNESCO site. And one of the items that UNESCO has identified as key moving forward is sustainability. And this is something that El Paso really has the opportunity to stand out as a leader as the globe continues to get hotter and water issues continue to be a growing concern. These are issues that El Paso has already been addressing and dealing with for decades. Our water consumption has gone down over 30% in the last since the 1980s, for example. And so people will be kind of eyes on us moving forward as we continue to expand these different strategies. Other items that we added on, things to consider in the long term with regards to the UNESCO designation that we can continue to address now are different historic designations that we can achieve here federally through the National Register as National Historic Landmarks. One is already actually in the process at the Rio Vista Farm in Socorro, which will be the first in the entire county, once successfully achieved. And those are just examples of different things that are already underway. And that will also help enhance our efforts in increasing tourism. So once the plan is adopted, just to kind of give a little timeline, we will be, as I mentioned earlier, presenting the plan and setting up different projects, prioritizing different projects, both short and long term. One of the suggestions made was the establishment of a Mission Trail Development Corporation. We've established a special committee within the Historical Commission that we hope can eventually become its own either nonprofit or its own board. They've already established 3 subcommittees, one for Socorro, one for Isleta, and one for San Elizario. We've invited government officials from City of Socorro, from the Tigua Pueblo, and of course from City of San Elizario to participate in those subcommittees of the special committee. And we're just really excited. I know that the group has been kind of on hold waiting for the plan to be adopted so that they can start addressing the different projects that are laid out. And then we also, with our new director, Ms. Andrea, are coming up with a pretty hefty incentives package to hopefully also be approved by the court as soon as, or shortly after the plan is adopted, to accompany and help make sure that these projects are successful.
Valerie, Clint and Tornillo and Fabens are sort of collateral partners. Do they participate in any way?
We have had them participate. It wasn't part of this particular study, but I can definitely see it being a big part of the county-wide historic assets master plan, which will be bringing the scope of work back to your attention very soon as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Other questions?
I have a question. I know that when we started talking about this, I don't know, a number of years ago, we talked about also, I don't know, somehow including or collaborating with or I guess including the Juarez, because the largest mission in the mission trail in this area is in Ciudad Juarez. It's the Guadalupe mission, right? And so I just was wondering how they were taken into account and
So are you familiar with Mr. Alborrego?
yes.
He continues to work very, very closely in continuing the historic trail from where it left off in Chihuahua, and they're still very active in partnering with INA, with all the different universities on the Mexican side, not only in Juarez, but throughout the entire state of Chihuahua, all the way through DF and Zacatecas to eventually extend the trail from where it left off in Chihuahua all the way to where we're kind of left out on the federal side, all the way through Santa Fe. So that definitely is very much still in the works, and it's a very active group.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Question, Judge.
Commissioner Pettis?
Thank you for the presentation. As I've said previously, one of the biggest challenges is collaboration, because each one of the missions in the chapel in San Lisario are located in different municipalities, and I think that's what's hindered plans in the past from moving forward. I know in the presentation, part of it, was discussing the possibility of PIDs, to help, as a way for each municipality to implement their version of the plan. But I think, as we discussed previously, I just wanted to remind the court and to the public, one other option might be establishing a local government corporation, which is what we did when it comes to, or what we're currently working on when it comes to transportation. That way there's one entity that each of the governments participate in. It could be the county and the 3 municipalities, and that might be a more effective and efficient way of trying to implement and trying to bring this plan to life. Rather than depending on each of the municipalities to adopt a PID, having to go through each of their councils, but trying to overcome that, the structure and the differences in jurisdictions, I think, has been a challenge in the past, but hopefully we can overcome that this time
Absolutely. It's definitely very complicated. City of San Elizario brought to my attention the zoning code, which Ms. Maya Sanchez talked about a little bit briefly during the last presentation that was established back in the 1990s. Speaking to your point about the establishment of a corporation, City of Socorro has established one with its own board, which is what I'm hoping the Historical Commission will kind of follow their lead in establishing their own, so that expands the opportunity for foundation-type grants and other fundraising that we, as a government entity, might not necessarily be eligible for. And one of my favorite sections of the plan is the section on land use, and it really addresses step-by-step. Really, it actually also suggests putting together a committee to go to review all of the different zoning codes that are currently in place. And it talks about establishing exactly a multi-jurisdictional one, so that it's not so cumbersome, not only for property owners who are wanting to make improvements or small businesses, but I know that there's been a lot of confusion over how to go about mixing residential with commercial, and at what level and at which sections, and so those are definitely some of the more longer-term projects that we'll really have to examine very closely and make sure that it does have the desired outcome of making things easier and less complicated and confusing.
Yeah.
But definitely something that's on our radar.
But definitely the local government corporation does give, if a corporation is established, I think the corporation has the ability to issue debt and issue bonds. And so that's something that could also help bring similar to the PID concept and trying to get each municipality, but rather than taking a separate municipality approach, having a unified approach, I think would certainly be beneficial. But just, again, something to keep continuing to look into.
Thank you.
Judge.
Commissioner Robinson?
From a economical development standpoint, from a historical standpoint, as we talk about promoting tourism to this region, are we, in the comprehensive plan, are you looking at all the other areas of the county as far as the historical sites to promote tourism?
Yes, this particular study is just addressing the Mission Trail, but overall, in my position, I try my best to address countywide. And with one of the strategic goals or initiatives that the county has identified is conducting a county-wide historic assets master plan, which will give us the opportunity to address our historic sites and have an inventory countywide from Vinton all the way through Tornillo and Fabens and Clint.
I appreciate that. I'd like to see what you have already. because speaking of that, in Vinton, Conatillo, Anthony,
Yes.
you have Old Fort Bliss, the historical site. You have a crossing where I believe Oñate crossed the river. There are other historical sites as well that help promote tourism.
Absolutely, I guarantee. And you'll see some movement on the Oñate Crossing project very soon. Just recently, purchasing awarded the contract for completion of the historic structures report and cultural landscape report.
Right.
And so as soon as we complete the contract stage, you'll be invited to a public kickoff meeting for that project.
Look forward to it.
Thank you.
Valerie, the El Paso Marathon will run through, starting at San Elizario, and it'll go through the missions, and then it'll go up to the stadium. So I'm hoping that you'd reach out and see how we could, this is a great opportunity because they send all their information to all the runners. If we could include, what's happening with the missions, and perhaps the map will show the timelines as to where they're going to be running through. And so I think that's going to be one of the things we have to do is create the culture first, and then, not just build it and they'll come. But they're very excited that they will be going in that direction and through the border highway. So we might create a marathon that'll be, known nationwide, if not worldwide.
Is that by chance with Miss Gabriela?
No, this will be with Salvador Almeida.
Okay.
And I think Commissioner Perez had asked him to talk to me as well, and so he had a discussion with him. I think we really have to encourage that there's excitement, and because there'll be more people that'll be by the missions as they run. So I think it all comes together. It's like a puzzle.
Absolutely. And with all the trail improvements that are taking place around the whole entire area, it's going to be really nice. It'll
I
be
believe
pretty.
it's February, in the middle of February, so we have some time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make a motion to approve?
Second?
So the motion would be to motion to adopt the Mission Trail Comprehensive Plan? Yes? Okay, that would be the motion.
And second?
Commissioner Perez.
Aye.
Commissioner Leon.
Aye.
Commissioner Stout.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Judge Samaniego.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We're very excited.
Thank you, Valerie.
so much.
Thank you for all your work.
If I could just briefly add before we close up on this particular topic. I know that the department is extremely excited to have a plan in place that we can now take, and look for federal opportunities for grants, look for additional partners in the community, and really try and stack different incentives, plans, and financial opportunities together to make sure that this plan moves forward. So we definitely don't want to see it just sitting on a shelf. So the roadshow that Valerie has kind of shown in her previous presentation, she's already got some of those scheduled and is rearing to go. So we're looking forward to getting this plan moving. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see what.
Item number 13, Health and Social Services. Receive an update and presentation regarding countywide polling place vote centers.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Lisa Wise, El Paso County Elections Administrator.
Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. I'm here to give an update on what the department is planning to do in the near future regarding vote centers. And I think everyone has that. I'm going to start a little history in case people aren't 100% sure what a vote center is. And basically what a vote center is a voting option which gives a voter the ability to vote anywhere rather than just their own precinct location. It's similar to early voting, and there's no wrong place to vote on Election Day. Vote Centers is a program that's relatively new in the state of Texas. It's a pilot program that you need to apply for. The application requires a county to conduct a public hearing and also to meet several technical requirements. Sorry. So the three technical requirements that are required is the electronic poll pad, which we implemented in 2018. So if you voted since then, which I hope everyone has, these are the new ways that you check in. You no longer use a paper poll book. You now check in on similar to an iPad with an electronic signature. We brought those in 2018. DRE, or direct recording electronic, or ballot marking device, which we implemented for the first time this May of 2019 and will be implemented in its first countywide election, November of 2019, the upcoming election. We also will need to use an updated curbside ADA equipment that we will implement in 2020. Our county is planning to apply for vote centers for the November 2020 election. The application process takes approximately 3 to 4 months, and that's why most counties use the summertime to do that, because there's generally not many elections. Begins with a submission of an intent to participate. This is just a form that I would send to the Secretary of State's office saying that, yes, we have the technical requirements, and you will expect an application for us for the November election.
I'm sorry, Lisa, is this April or July that passed, or?
It will be April or July of 2020.
Of 2020.
So in order to apply for November 2020, we'll work on the summer of 2020 on this process. We will come, it starts with, after the intent to participate, we will come to both the Election Commission and the County Commissioners Court and do a presentation with a specific timeline. We'll also call for committee members. Best practices on counties that have applied before, basically put together a committee. We're going to ask each commissioner and also each member of the Election Commission to nominate someone to sit on that committee. So our committee will be made up of 9 members, as the judge has dual, both on election and county commission. So he'll have one recommendation. We'll meet with county stakeholders. Basically, you'll go out and go to community meetings, meet with different groups. El Paso Council for the Blind is a group that I know is interested in meeting. All different groups across the county to gather feedback with that committee. The application process also requires a public hearing. So once we've met with your committee members and the different members in the community, we will come back and conduct a public hearing. We will discuss the methodology for site selection. We will discuss any outreach and education. We will also take that community feedback that we get and finalize the plan. We will gather letters of support if in fact the commission and the committee agree to move forward. We'll submit our proposal, and then we'll get a notice from the Secretary of State, generally at the end of August, on whether or not we're able to move forward. Assuming that everything is complete in the application, they're generally approved. Following that initial election, we will conduct a meeting required by the County Commissioners Court, and a letter by the judge will be sent to the Secretary of State's office asking that we be declared successful. Once you're declared a successful election, you no longer have to go through that process every election, and you can move on using vote centers whenever you deem appropriate. So a little bit about the selection for 2020. Any county that is going into vote centers in a presidential election for the first time has committed to keeping all sites open. That would be my recommendation. Again, we'll meet with the committee, but just going forward, I wanted to talk a little bit about my concern with consolidating in a presidential year. So many voters come out every 4 years, and to remove their polling site, I think will cause more harm than good, and really lead to a negative first time with this pilot program. So once we do meet with the committee, we'll talk about utilizing every location for that. I'd also like to, when we meet, talk about adding some high-trafficked early voting sites. Everybody talks about Bassett, everybody talks about Sunland Park. Our courthouse would be one where people would be able to vote on election day instead of just early voting. I think that would be something that would benefit the county. After an election or two, depending on what the Commissioners Court and the committee agree on, we could then look at if we wanted to gather feedback and if we wanted to do any consolidation. So looking past 2020, this is where we'd really have to decide how we want to do that. And that's, right now, the election code allows for a maximum reduction to 65%. I don't know of a large county that's done that. I think going from 146, 145 sites down to 97 could be detrimental. Following that, you can go down to 50%. Obviously, if they don't go to 65, no one goes to 50. That is currently what the law allows, though. For elections, a countywide election, which would be the November elections, and any election called by the county commission, the sites are being approved and determined by this court. For an entity election, the sites would be determined by the approval of the entity's presiding authority. This is all currently how it's done anyways, but basically they follow the sites that we set up. They don't go out and locate other sites. For a primary election, the sites would be determined by political parties. If one political party wanted to consolidate, they have the right to do that. They currently do have the right to do that. They just currently don't exercise that right. They keep all of the sites open, just as we do, in order to offer as many vote options as possible. Moving to the vote center costs, currently we rent additional equipment for approximately $50,000 to $58,000 per countywide election. If we were to decide to move to vote centers using all locations, it would require 80 additional curbside devices with 88 keypads and 85 DS200 scanners, which are the ballot box, which you actually feed your ballot into, for approximately $500,000. So when we look at the options for 2020, we have the option to continue renting, which is what we are doing currently, or request a formal proposal from vendor and move forward with the purchase. The monies that we had in that account for purchase are down to, I think, if Wally wants to correct me, 81,000? Okay, 81,000 left in that account. So it really is a determination on if we wanted to continue renting in the idea that eventually we may consolidate, or if we just wanted to purchase and have extra machines, possibly open more sites. It's dependent on what decision-making we have for that process. I'm happy to take any questions now. I know we went through that kind of fast. We've discussed a lot of this in the past, but I wanted to make sure that everybody is on the same page on what we're planning to do.
Is the 500,000 more of a fixed cost, or is that?
Yes, the 500,000 would get us all of that equipment. It would get us the installation, the delivery, and the training, in addition to what we've already purchased.
Okay. Commissioner Robinson?
Thank you, Judge. A couple questions. One, I like the idea of doing this. Other places have adopted this process, so I look forward to going forward. One of the questions I have is that going back to the election judges and registration for people to vote, how do you scrutinize those individuals, those judges and the people who are registered individuals to vote? And the reason I ask that question is because we had an incident back a few years ago where an election judge had registered a number of people, and it was like, I believe, 13 or more, and they all lived in a one-bedroom house, all adults. Through investigation, found out that they were just using that house as an address, but they didn't live there. You can imagine 13 adults with families living in a one-bedroom house. So that's one question I have. Maybe you don't have an answer right now, but I'll pose it to you if you can get back to me at a later date.
I could answer it, although I don't know if that's going off the agenda item.
We're going off the scope. This is on the polling places and the vote centers, but certainly something that we can circle back on.
Okay.
Yes, I'm happy to meet with you or even a phone call, and we can
It's
address
good to have the idea that, so in essence, invariably on any election, we have people that end up at the wrong polling place or their polling place have changed. So now we're saying that they can vote anywhere.
Correct.
During the election cycle.
Just as we do during early voting. And we have now surpassed the 50-50 as far as early voting and election day. It ranges sometimes between 60 to 70%, depending on the election, of voters who utilize early voting. So we know that voters in El Paso County like that. They like the option of going to any location, and we look forward to expanding that on election day.
Lisa, first of all, thank you. You've done a great job. You're very dedicated in what you do. And wanted to ask you, there had been some discussions about the schools not wanting us. And so do you keep that in mind when you're doing the centers, that might be a possibility?
Yes, and so the schools are always in the back of our minds, and I know we're always in the back of the schools' minds as well. Talking about, there's still the talk at the state level of a national holiday or a state holiday or federal holiday on election day for our countywide elections, for the federal elections. When we do look at limiting locations, if that's a decision that we do decide to do as far as consolidation, it would be to start with elementary schools because of safety, because of interior space, because of parking. All of those issues are really the strongest at elementary schools. And that's where people would say that's the best practice to start to pull out. But you really want to make sure that those are not underserved areas. So there's a lot of precincts that don't have any other locations, close by except maybe a school. So those we would want to stay in. But again, using all of the locations as vote centers really kind of gives us an idea on, once these people who maybe vote at schools all the time have the option on election day to go to any location, do they utilize that or not? And then be able to make decisions based on actual statistics.
It's a great sort of a test trial. If they do go to the centers and they're not going as much to the school, then you feel a little bit more comfortable. I'm just worried the independent school districts might just ask us not to do that, or, and because I know there's a lot of talk in their side of because of what you just mentioned and the safety and all these other. Now, what do we need to do at this point to make sure that we get that application into the?
So basically, right now, we're going to do the intent to participate. Again, that's just a real quick form. It's very short. My signature saying that, yes, we have all of the technical requirements. Yes, we understand that there needs to be at least one vote center in every commissioner's district. We'll have, well more than that. So once that's over and the Secretary of State says, yes, we understand, you're planning to apply for November 2020, we will come back in April, maybe late March, once we're done with the primary, do a presentation, establish a committee call for members to be nominated by each member of Commissioners Court as well as the Election Commission, and then move forward with that, do a little kickoff kind of meeting and talk about what we're going to do, more specific on the timeline, everything I kind of talked about, education, what's our plan for that, and then come back to the public hearing in July for the final step before the application.
Can it be done earlier, or do you have that time frame to?
It can be done earlier. The issue is the SOS has the deadline of, I think it's August 22nd, and they won't let you know that, hey, you have qualified until their deadline, which is September, mid-September. So for us, we could do it sooner, but there's two things. One, we wouldn't be able to find out until September if we were accepted. But also, two, it's really a summer project because of the election and the timing. For our department to conduct what I would consider a thorough application process, it's tough to do on top of especially a primary election. So it's generally a summer project, especially for large counties. They take it on between the March or May and the November election.
It's just, my concern would be that, I really believe those centers are important. We have to get people to vote and more accessibility. That time frame just seems so tight between the time you find out and the elections, and
that's the one issue, is everybody kind of has said, look, we don't like to wait till September to find out if we can go in November, but we have not seen an application denied. So I don't want to say 100% confident, but I am confident in our department and the county's ability to be accepted, and kind of just assume, I guess, that we will be using vote centers.
Is
in
there any,
November of
an
2020.
appeal process in case that it does get rejected? at
Well,
that
if it were
point?
to get rejected, then we would do precinct voting in November and just submit whatever application tweaks they suggested to us for the next election.
Okay.
For May of 2021. But again, I don't anticipate that happening. That would be incredibly rare.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Commissioners, any, Commissioner Stout?
Lisa, Ms. Weiss, I want to thank you very much. Our office reached out to you a couple of months ago because we started seeing in the headlines in Bexar County and in Dallas County, and then receiving some, being contacted by some of my constituents about, what is El Paso County doing? And so I appreciate you being so responsive and being willing to actually, expedite this to, I think, the quickest time possible. I think originally we were looking at maybe even doing it in 2021, and we talked about pushing it at least to the general election in 2020, because that's the first election that the county would be running the process. It's a little bit different during primaries because the parties run the process during the primaries, and so we want to make sure that it's the county that's doing the first run on this, as opposed to the parties, so we don't have any confusion at all about how things should be done. And I appreciate you for being willing to work with us on that. I think that it's supremely important that we go to vote centers as soon as we possibly can. But we want to make sure that the process is the easiest and it's the best utilized and the I guess the most transparent, because the county will be doing it. And so I know that people are kind of itching to get this done, as have I. I've been, and so I really appreciate your willingness to work with us. The more vote centers we have, I think the better. We will have to have the conversation in the future about whether we want to reduce or not. But I definitely think that we could look at renting the equipment this first time around instead of spending the $500,000 for the purchase. And then if we see how it goes, and then if we decide we need to purchase more machines to have permanently, then we can move forward with that at a future date. But that's just my thoughts.
At what point can we make that determination as to rent versus purchase? And
Well, the item that I brought today that was pulled from the consent is just for November of 19. So that we'd have to decide today, because we obviously need to get that equipment for the upcoming election. But we could revisit it in, I would say, January, about if we want to purchase or not. The items are there. They have the product. It's just a matter of when they deliver it, do we keep it or do we return it after we've used it for rental? So they've worked with us really well, and they are very aware that we're looking at this as an option and that we're wanting to go to vote centers in 2020. So I think probably a 60 to 90 day window at most would be plenty of time for them. But the other thing I just want to say is, we want to move to vote centers as well as a department, because of the administration ease that it brings, which is no provisional ballots based on wrong polling sites. We don't have to worry about people calling us last minute panicking. So we're eager to do that too. I mean, we're very eager to do that from our point of view. Our issue is the same as I'm sure yours, which is the cost and the decision making on sites. That's really, November 2020 is nice, because if we do decide to keep every place open, we don't really have to face that yet. So and we can use data gathered there to then make future decisions.
okay. Commissioner, is that satisfactory for your concern on the rental?
Did they have another question?
Commissioner Leon?
Lisa, thanks a lot. As you know, I've really been pushing for this for a long time. And you'd be surprised. I've had some people call, and it even happened to when I drove my wife to vote, do you have 100% voters, 85% voters, 80% voters that always vote early, but when it comes for whatever reason they missed early voting, they do not know where their voting center is on that day, the day of the election. So I think overall, once we kick this off, I think it'll up our percentage on voter turnout tremendously. I think it's going to be getting up the hill a little bit, but after we get to the top, I think it's going to be excellent.
Yeah, I agree, and I do believe that a presidential probably could, utilizing every location really could be the best, because there are a lot of voters that only come out every 4 years. So if they're able to participate in November 2020, they've already experienced it one time, and now they know, okay, we see a polling site, that's where we can go. We don't have to figure out which is by us and which one's closed or open, and it's definitely easier for the voters.
Commissioner Robinson?
Yes. Cost. When for example, like the city, when they hold election, they pay for it. Now, in the general election, is there a prorated cost for the other entities as well?
Yeah, so in an example like this election that we're about to have in November of 2020,
Right.
we'll have the constitutional amendments, which is the state election, which there is no reimbursement. The county
Right.
picks up the cost for that. They're obligated statutorily to cover that. The city will have 2 special elections with the District 3 as well as a bond. They will pay a portion of the bill. YISD will have a bond. They will pay a portion of the bill. Vinton is on the ballot as well as Clint. So all of the entities that come on to the ballot pay a portion of the cost of the election.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Lisa, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep, next, item J. I think it was,
F, I think. Is it F?
or F, sorry.
Item number 4F from the consent agenda. Approve and authorize the county judge to sign the rental agreement and addendum to election systems and software and general terms for scanners in the amount of $48,650 and may include other additional expenses. Funding is available in special revenue, election services, elections expense. Contract number 2019-0557.
Lisa Weisel, Paso County Elections Administrator. Again, this amount is just for the upcoming November 2019. The contract pricing is good through the end of 2020. That's why there's some December 31, 2020 language on there. But this specific estimate and bill would be just for this November 19.
Approve.
Second.
Commissioner Perez.
Aye.
Commissioner Leon.
Aye.
Commissioner Stout.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Judge Samaniego.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Item number 14, approve and authorize the county judge to sign the Area Agency on Aging vendor agreement for fiscal year 2020, reflecting the new year's scope of services and the unit reimbursement rate for the senior noontime meal program at $5.28 per congregate meal and $5.31 per home delivered meal from October 1st, 2019 through September 30th, 2020. Contract number 2019-0690.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning.
My name is Rosalba Hernandez. I'm the Program Manager for the Nutrition Program under the Community Services Department. What you have in front of you is the annual vendor agreement that is between the County of El Paso and the Area Agency on Aging. It outlines the scope of services as well as the new unit rate reimbursement for the congregate meals and the home-delivered meals. For the congregate meals, providing AAA does not cap our units. We are expected to receive $1,173,000 with $89,000. That's at $528 per meal. And that is providing that we are not capped throughout the year, as we have been in previous years. For the home-delivered meal program, we are expected to receive $104,883 with 12 cents, and that is at $5.31 each meal. Those are the reimbursement rates for both programs, and that is what is expected for fiscal year 20.
So the difference between a congregate and a home-delivered meal is 3 cents?
Yes, this year, yes. And this year, in the 3 years I've been in this program, this is the first year that we see the unit rates at $5 and cents. In the past, it's been lower.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Commissioner Perez.
Aye.
Commissioner Leon.
Aye.
Commissioner Stout.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Judge Samaniego.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Irene Rosalba, thank you so much. I know the logistics on this program is quite complex, and thank you for everything that you do to make it happen. Thank you.
Item number 15, Public Works. Approve and authorize the county judge to sign the project development agreement with the Camino Real Regional Mobility Authority, authorizing the construction of Mission Ridge Boulevard, Phase 2 roadway improvements. Further approve and authorize the county judge to sign the necessary resolution and supporting documents. Contract number 2019-0691.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioner. Sal Alonso, Transportation Program Engineer for the Planning and Development Department. This item before you is the interlocal between the County of El Paso and the RMA to execute the VRF fundings for the construction of Mission Ridge Phase 2. This is a project that is highly needed in the area. This is the last segment of Mission Ridge that would be able to connect Pelicano all the way down to Paseo de Este and also to East Lake. With the construction of East Lake and the Darrington projects in the near horizon, especially the Darrington project, this is a really key part of the roadway that needs to be completed prior for the construction of Darrington. No county funds required. This is all allocated in the VRF 2014 and 2017 bonds. Staff recommends approval. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Looks like this is the hinge pin to so many other activities, because people have been asking about.
Yes, sir.
You know, it needs to move forward, and this seems to be part of that, so.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for everything you guys do.
Thank you.
In your work.
You're welcome.
Commissioners, any questions?
Quick, Sal, if
Mr.
this is
Leon?
approved, when do you anticipate the beginning or the start date?
We're looking at the first, let me go back. This item has already been approved by the RMA Board and the Paso Water Utility because there's a partnership between the two agencies. This is the last step in doing that. Once, if this is approved, we would schedule a pre-construction meeting within the next 2 weeks, and then the notice to proceed shortly after that. So I'm anticipating early October. No, we're ready to go. The contractor's ready to go, and our team's ready to
Move
go
to
as well.
approve?
Second?
Commissioner Perez?
Aye.
Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson?
Aye.
Judge Samaniego?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sal.
Item number 16, discuss and take appropriate action regarding the Northwest El Paso, Texas feasibility study being conducted by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners, Gilbert Saldaña with Planning and Development. Let me start off with a quick background. Approximately over the last 5 years, El Paso Water has sponsored a grant for the the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to perform a drainage study in the northwest part of El Paso County for the purposes of identifying any project that would be eligible for federal funding. To date, approximately $1.5 million is needed to complete the study. Of the $1.5 million, approximately $850,000 will come from federal funds, and the remaining, which is approximately $700,000, needs to come from local sponsors. Since El Paso Water Utilities has already spent approximately $1 million on this study, they are seeking financial partnership with El Paso County and the Village of Vinton to help fund the remainder of the study. Since the study is complete, once the study is complete, the construction of the project would then be eligible for federal funds. However, it is very important to note that completing the study does not guarantee the project will receive federal funds for construction. After the Army Corps of Engineers gave the court a presentation back with this information back in June of 17 of this year, the court requested our department to request participation from the Village of Vinton to assist in funding the study. Last week, on September the 17th, the Village of Vinton approved to participate with $70,000 this upcoming fiscal year, with the intent to fund another $70,000 the following fiscal year. Total, this equates to approximately $20,000 of what is needed to complete the remainder of the study. Therefore, the county would need to fund the remainder, which is approximately $560,000 to complete the study. If the court decides to move forward, these funds would come from the 1 cent stormwater account. I'll answer any questions you may have.
Commissioner Robinson?
So the funding is Vinton has made that firm commitment.
They have a firm commitment of $70,000 for this upcoming fiscal year. Yes, sir.
In the following year?
In the following year, the intent is to do another $70,000. They just didn't have enough funds this upcoming in their budget.
Are we on a timeline before to make sure we get that money before?
Yes, so the...
In other words, is it acceptable, the plan they have now?
Yes, the Corps is going to go, they're going to go after the federal funds in April of 2020. And that's when, when they receive those federal funds, they'll proceed with the study. That's when most of the funds are going to be required. But the $70,000 that are still pending could still come in after that as well.
Okay. Well, this project is critical for that region.
Yes, sir.
So I want to move to approve.
Judge, if I may.
Yes,
Gilbert,
Betsy.
we've done feasibility studies like with the Corps in the past, and somewhere along the way, the Corps has either identified that the cost-benefit analysis did not show that it would be beneficial to do the actual projects, and then we never ended up getting any federal funding to do the projects that the study was geared towards looking at doing. I just wanted to know if there was any indication, the likelihood in this particular one, whether or not there would be, it mentions in the backup that we need to complete the study to be eligible for federal funds to do the projects. Is there any indication that the likelihood of getting federal funding after the study is high?
Okay, so I think what you're referring to is what everybody probably recalls from the Sparks Arroyo feasibility study. I guess when the Corps got to a point where they came to the conclusion that there's a benefit cost ratio of approximately 1, and they let us know that that's probably unlikely that we would ever receive funds, for federal funds. It's a 1-to-1. It's just, there's just no reason, I guess, that the federal funds would come in for that project. This one in particular, it's about a 1.4, so the likeliness is better, but unfortunately nobody knows what are the likeliness, or we don't know the odds. It all just is all going to be competitive depending on the situation at that time. There could be a lot more projects that come in that are higher cost-benefit ratios or less, and it's just difficult to tell, but I know it's a lot better than the one from Sparks.
Well, there are no guarantees in life on almost anything, but the situation is that those people that live in that area, they suffer the flooding, the drainage problem which they have on the arroyos. It's critical that we do something. We can't just keep sitting around and saying that we can't do. How long do we put those people off? So I say that we need to move forward and make an effort. As I say, there's no guarantee. Anytime we apply for grants or whatever from the federal government, sure, there's no guarantee. But is there a likelihood we can get it if we push forward and use our influence that we have available to us? We should make it the best effort we can.
And I do want to clarify, we are doing a stormwater mitigation project in this area where it's an actual project to start alleviating some of the stormwater issues. But this is the study, so there won't be an actual project. It's just the study, correct, Gilbert?
That's correct, yes.
And then depending on the findings of the study, we may be eligible for federal funding to help with some of the projects. So I just
Commissioner-
wanted to clarify, because we've gotten into this in the past, thinking we were going to get federal funding, and we did not. From a study, we didn't even finish completing that study once we were notified that we weren't going to get all the federal funding.
Well, the thing is, well, look at it, if we were not planning on to participate in it, why did we start from the beginning? You know, so we got this far, and now we say we don't want to participate.
Commissioner Perez?
Yeah, just to, I mean, I don't know if it's possible for the Corps, next time that they're in town, to give us perhaps a presentation on that, on where they see, the cost-benefit ratio right now, and perhaps where they, federal funding streams right now are, and I know in every department in USDA and all that are dwindling, but that would be helpful, because when we did go through this process last time, with the Corps of Engineer, we spent several $100,000, if not more, only to at the end. It doesn't mean that these types of studies aren't worthwhile. It certainly is worth the try, but it would be helpful for if the Corps could come in and perhaps give us that presentation of where they see the cost-benefit analysis now, so that way we could just make a better determination as we proceed. So.
Gilbert, from my understanding, does the study itself, are there collateral benefits from understanding, not only that we get the awarded, but is there things in the study that help us to understand things or to be able to do other things, or is it strictly just to obtain the money?
Yes, so the study will obviously fine-tune what, obviously the project, I guess they'll determine approximately where the dams would be located, approximate costs of the construction, and it fine-tunes almost like a cost estimate with all the benefits, all the criteria that's going to be required to compete and to make that project eligible. But it's specifically for that specific area.
For that area, okay.
The water utilities that participate in this process?
Yes, sir. They're the ones that initially started the whole project. The county had nothing to do with it. They initially initiated this project for the intent to study the entire northwest area.
Right.
But
how
after
how much have they spent on it?
They spent about $1 million so far.
So we have buy-in from the water utilities,
Yes.
but we don't have buy-in from the county.
We have not spent any money on this study at this time.
I like to think that the water utilities would not have spent $1 million if they didn't think it was a worthwhile project.
Betsy, you had a comment?
Clarify, I don't want to leave the impression that the county isn't doing anything, because we are updating our own 2010, we're updating the stormwater master plan, we're actually putting out the money to do actual projects out of that plan. I don't want to leave the impression that we're not doing anything. I'm not opposed or saying that we don't do this particular feasibility study, but I do want it to be just understood that this is a feasibility study. We are working separately on stormwater master plan updates and on actual projects to alleviate stormwater.
So what is the difference, or what's the benefit of what the county is doing now versus this project?
So I think the projects that I think Betsy's referring to are specific, site-specific projects. We have a master plan and has identified multiple specific projects located all countywide. And those are, but this one is specifically for that specific area for the intent of possibly receiving federal funds.
But once again, the $1 million that the water utilities have spent already, is it reasonable to assume that they would not have spent this $1 million if they didn't think it was a worthwhile project, and it would be benefit for all in that region?
I'm assuming I'm sure they considered that, and they assumed that they were going to spend $1 million because it was worth the shot, I guess. But unfortunately, at this time, they narrowed the scope down to that Westway, Vinton area.
Right.
And I guess I think they were assuming that some of these projects would fall within the city of Paso jurisdiction, or something that would benefit the city a little bit more. But when the cost estimates and the benefit cost ratios came in, the arroyos that were had the highest benefit cost ratio came in right at that Vinton and Westway area.
Yes, because there, if any of you have been out there in that area, you will see there's a lot of arroyos. And there are a lot of people who have came close to losing their homes because of the flooding problem that had continued in that area. So what we are doing, the county is doing right now, this study will this encompass what the county is doing? Will there be an overlap?
It would be just another a potential funding source for these projects. I think the ones that we're working on are, we're still trying to obtain some of the funds to do those construction and the designs of those. But I don't know if we're moving forward with the intent of getting, I mean, obviously they'll be shelf ready, I guess, to go into a study. But they're sort of independent at this time, but they I guess they
Well, let me ask you,
coordinate with each
as
other.
far as funding is concerned also, have we applied for any grants in that regard?
Go ahead, Fernie.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Fernie on this with the Public Works Department. We have applied for different grants in these areas. Basically, we just went through the around this past year where we applied for 10 different projects. We were notified by the city of the county of Council of Government, I'm sorry, the COG, that we were not selected as the finalists. We were, I think we came in ranked third, and they funded the top two projects. We have prioritized different projects throughout the area, and as part of our initiative, we've established one project that has gone out there, which is the Bailey subdivision. That project is actually moving forward. We've already allocated the funds, and we've already hired the consultant to go out there and start doing the preliminary study. They were released to do their design about 2 weeks ago, and they've already started in the process of actually putting a schedule together, a construction, a design schedule, so that'll give us basically the timeline of when we're going to be expecting to go out to bid and the actual construction phase of that one. So even though this project is separate because it's going through the process where the court identified a wide area that they're fixing to analyze, and they've narrowed it down to basically the arroyos that they've deemed that are, I guess, that they propose that are, their benefit cost analysis ratio pertains to allowing for federal funding. What we're doing is we're actually looking for projects that are vital to the community, that we can go out there with our funds right now and actually take care of these projects, assuming with the one penny fund as well.
Well, a question I have in that regard, have we informed the people who live in that area what we're doing? And when did we do that?
As part of our, I guess, as our outreach program, we've identified, since we're barely on the conceptual part, but we have put together a presentation that we're planning to go out and meet with the residents, and that's going to be driven by the consultant. They're going to be issuing notification of the specific area project, and this is something that we've also placed onto the consultant specifically to go out there and do the basically the boots on the ground and notify the actual residents that are affected. As you know, we have a large variety and a large need. So basically what we're doing is as the project gets funded, we're going to tasking each individual consultant to go out there and be our basically the outreach of the county to provide the residents the knowledge that this is coming. Unfortunately, the way that these projects work, because they're large scale projects, they take anywhere between 6 to 9 months during the design phase, and then that's they'll determine if there's a FEMA that needs to be involved, and then that adds another 2 to 3 months into that design phase, and then that's when the construction. So realistically, before when we issue the notice to proceed to the consultant, we're looking at anywhere between 6 months to a year before we actually start going out to the bidding process. And so that's when we're going to be kind of spearheading our outreach program, notifying that the residents that this is coming. As you know from the previous our previous presentation, we identified 3 projects that are moving forward right now, and in part of I guess our coordination, we're set to present at the end of this year a 5-year master plan of which ones we're looking to approach and kind of put that out into the public through our website so that they know that these are the ones that we're focusing on in the future and kind of moving forward. These are the next steps that we're looking at to approach this vast need that we have in the county.
Well, I like to keep people informed directly. Send out emails and all that, that's great. But I've had 2 public meetings with the people in Vinton Westway. Well over 50 people attended those meetings, and they asked the same questions over and over and over. We've been, one, we have not been heard, or we've not been informed of what's going on. So what I'd like to do is coordinate with you guys, so when you decide, get to with the consultant, et cetera, I'll set up a meeting where we can get a large number of people out there where they can hear directly, and they can ask questions, and you inform them. Rather than, some people may hear what's being said here today, but I like to make sure they are properly informed, or better informed.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Commissioner Robinson, we're glad to attend the meetings with you to keep the public informed. We've done that in the past, and just let us know the dates and we'll be there. So we can provide the information to the public.
When do you anticipate getting the information from the consultants?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Consultants?
The consultant, they're already on board. Fernie can give you more information.
Yeah, and like I had mentioned, the consultants were released about 2 weeks ago, and so they've already started the, I guess, a timeline, which is their schedule. And, you know, they're going to be starting, I guess, survey here within the next couple of weeks or so. And so that, basically, until we get an actual survey, then we can have these open discussions with the public, because as of right now, it's just going out there and telling them, well, you do have a problem here. But until we have a conceptual solution that we're going to work towards, that's kind of where we start focusing in, having the consultants do the outreach at that point.
You plan to do the survey when? How soon?
We're going to release the surveyor, I believe their schedule set in 2 weeks.
You have completed by when?
I'm not sure, because we have one consultant to do the 3 projects, so I'd have to verify with their schedule to see when the completion is for the one on the west side.
You let me know, please, and then, so that once they complete it, we'll set up a meeting.
Yes, sir, we can go ahead and, I guess, take a look at that and let you know those dates so we can coordinate a meeting with at that point.
I want to make sure that people out there know, they know who, what, when, and how.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You know, we've implemented measures where now when we're paving, we notify the public that we're going to be in the street. So we've implemented different measures, we've implemented different measures to make sure that the community is aware of what's happening out there. So we do inform them, and we're glad to do that, and we're glad to provide you the timelines that the consultants give us.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm not saying that you're not, that you don't inform them, but I'd like to make sure we do a mass. Because when I had the 2 meetings I had with the people out there in Westway and Vinton, they had well over 50 people each time. And the mayor of Vinton said he could get 10 people come to the meeting, but when we had our meeting, we had well over 50 people.
Thank you. Commissioner Bettis?
And I guess in researching that, we already did receive a presentation from the Corps back in June, and we did take a vote to approve, and I think we were just waiting for the Village of Vinton for their cost commitment. Is that correct?
Okay, so when you all met on it, then you said before you took final action, you wanted to consider this further. And it was the Village of Vinton piece, and there was the discussion about the concern about whether or not the feasibility study would actually probability of resulting in federal funding. So and obviously Vinton has said that they're willing to fund about 20%, 70,000 this year. I'm sorry, yes, 70,000 this year and 70,000 next year of the remaining amount.
And then the county's portion would be how much again?
560,000, I believe.
Okay.
That's not minus the Vinton participation?
That's after Vinton pays theirs. And I understand that they want the majority of the money up front. So the county, if Vinton puts up 70,000 immediately, there's $620,000 they want immediately, so the county would need to have 550,000 for the other portion almost immediately.
And you feel their portion, it's appropriate?
So what I keep going back to is this isn't a study that the county started. It is a study that EPW started and then came to us and said, will you all help pay for this? And I believe it's because a portion of this is in the county. And EPW does own land throughout that area, but they have asked that the county participate. So, and Benton has committed to the first 70K with the intent or the indication that they'll submit to another. So 20% of the project being funded by Benton. This would be a massive stormwater project if the federal government did approve it. Then the community, including the county, would have to come up with, I believe, about $20 million of the project to do this massive stormwater project. Once study goes through, federal government commits to helping fund, we will have to work with the affected communities and probably issue debt to come up with about $20 million worth of funding for stormwater for this area.
Judge, what I've heard, the hang-up with the issue with Benton was the funding from Benton, their priority share. That was an issue. That was the only hang-up that I've heard since I've been here as far as that project is concerned. So now I'm hearing a little bit different. So Benton was the hold up because we were not sure we were going to get the money from Benton or they could come up with the money. Now they've made a commitment that they will be provide the money. So now we should be moving forward.
Commissioners?
I made a motion, so I don't know, didn't hear a second. I made a motion.
Judge, Commissioners, I want to just clarify, we're not opposed to participating in the feasibility study. I just wanted to make it understood that the study does not guarantee the funding. It will be dependent on the timing, as Gilbert explained, what other projects are being considered, and what what we're up against as far as other cost-benefit analysis.
My concern was when you said about the 20 million additional and whether or not we're capable of, we're getting into something and we haven't assessed whether we're capable of coming up with 20 million. So that was a little additional information that I didn't have. I don't know if that's the concern or.
I want to clarify, it's a massive, it's a massive project. It'd become eligible for construction dollars. And again, the project's construction estimates would be approximately $56 million. So you're talking about a $56 million stormwater project. As you know, we believe we have over $200 million worth of stormwater projects countywide. This would be a massive one that would be for the northwest area of the county. Out of the $56 million project, 35% is supposed to be funded locally, which would be approximately $19.6 million. So they would be looking to, maybe El Paso Water would partner with us on that. I don't know. The Village of Benton, others that would benefit from this. But I believe that we would be expected to be helping with portions of that funding. We could also apply for grant funds to help with our portion, but I don't know the certainty of those either.
We don't go forward with let's say our action is not to, go forward. Could you, Gilbert or Fernie or Norma, could you give us an indication of then what happens at that point? Will the water utilities try to take on the project? Is there any indication that we could do something similar? I just want to know if we don't go forward, since we haven't had a second, what are some of the impact of not going forward?
I think El Paso Water has felt like if they already expended as much as they are willing to do on this specific project, as far as the study is concerned. Like I mentioned, they've already spent $1 million. I think the arroyos that would be benefited from this project would, all the properties are outside the city of El Paso. It's mainly in the unincorporated areas of Westway, Village of Vinton. So they're looking at us to complete the study as far as the funding at. If we were to complete the study, and if it goes out, and we were to receive federal funds for it, like Betsy said, it's about $56 million. Locally, we would be on the hook for about $20 million roughly. I think El Paso Water Utilities has indicated that they would probably assist in donating maybe the land that's associated with where the dams are going to be proposed. And that would be probably their contribution, and I'm not sure if they'd be willing to do any more contributions other than that.
How can you commit, how can you determine what the cost for the project is going to be, and you haven't done the study? Where did the figure come from? Who came up with that figure? We don't know what the study will show us, tell us. We haven't done the study yet, but yet we say how much it's going to cost to do a project. I don't think that the water utility will spend $1 million if they didn't intend to go through with the project. And once again, the hang-up that I heard since I've been here was Benton was the hold up because we didn't know if Benton was going to come with the money. Benton came with the money. Now we're saying we got other problems.
The amounts were identified by the Corps of Engineer, Commissioner.
Okay. Do we have that in writing?
Part of the presentation back in June 17th.
I was not in June. Can I get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Leon?
Judge, Norma, Betsy, you mentioned the possibility of some grant funding being out there. Can we bring this back maybe a little bit in the future and see if what is available, what are the odds that we might be able to pick up some of that funding? Then maybe if we can bring that 20 amount down to the area of 1 or 2, maybe that would change the thinking of the court.
Absolutely, Commissioner.
Absolutely.
We'll be glad to bring it back in a couple of weeks. Is that?
Yeah, that's
We're
okay
looking
with
at?
the court, yeah.
I would
Give us
agree.
the opportunity to see what's available, and then we can bring it back.
Yeah, maybe at one of our Thursday special meetings would be
Thursday
ideal.
special meeting next month.
Yeah, I think we have more questions and answers at this time, and I think the court is a little uncomfortable not knowing all the opportunities and options, so I would agree as well.
We'll bring it as a presentation next month.
I have one other question, Judge.
Yes, sir.
Have we done any other projects like this before? Is this the first time we've done a study?
This is the second one where we've, the first one, like I mentioned, was a Sparks Arroyo.
And how much did we pay for that one?
Close to $1 million, right? Or no,
I'll say $400,000.
$400,000?
that we spent. We can look at the exact numbers, Commissioner, but I want to say it's close to about $400,000. And then the Corps of Engineers said that there was no funding. It was not, because the cost ratio was not there, and so they wouldn't fund that project. And we'll be glad to get all that information and during
Did we do
the,
any project in that area? Did we do any project in that area? We did-
No,
we-
no project, so the feasibility study did not show that it would have a cost-benefit analysis that met what the federal government would fund. So the federal government never came through with funding for a project.
Do we anticipate in the Benton Westway area being a cost benefit to the federal government?
It's obviously, it's better than the Sparks Arroyo. I know the Sparks was close to 1. This one, a combined, the $56 million one is a CBR of a 1.4. So it is better. I'm just not sure how it would compete with other projects.
Could you also,
And
Gilbert?
the other question I have in that regard also is that did we put it on our state and legislative agenda?
Yes, sir, every
We
year.
did?
Funding and legislation for helping with stormwater mitigation is on our federal and our state legislative agenda every year.
Specifically? Okay.
Okay,
I'd
so
like to
we-
see that as well.
So we agree next special session?
Well, he has a motion on the table, so
I'm
we probably,
sorry.
either he has to rescind it or we have to, second yet, so.
No seconds, so I guess it dies. So we go,
There was a motion on the table, and if there's no second, then the motion fails for lack of second. And there'd be no action.
Okay, thank you. Gilbert, Norma, Fernie, thank you.
We'll bring it
Thank you.
back in special session.
Thank you.
Item number 16, no action. At this time, we'd like to skip over to the purchasing items. Item number 18, award of bid number 19028, Vista del Este Water Distribution System to CMD Endeavors Incorporated of El Paso, Texas, in the amount of $1,937,000. Purchasing approved recommendation on September 10th, 2019. Funding is available in EP Vista del Este cap outlays.
Deborah Correjo, Troll County Purchasing Agent. For this sealed bid for construction, if you'll notice, we had 8 bidders. 7 of the 8 were local. This is getting better for our construction bids. In this case, we're recommending award to the lowest and best bidder, and I believe that if this is approved, a contract is coming up next.
So Christina, on this one, we approved the award?
Which is on the award of the bid itself, and it needs to be separate and apart from the contract. So I believe you're asking for the award of that bid, Ms.?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Commissioner Perez.
Aye.
Commissioner Leon.
Aye.
Commissioner Stout.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
aye.
Judge Samaniego.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 17 from Public Works. With a correction to read in from the county attorney's office, the item should read, approve and authorize the county judge to sign the contract between the county of El Paso and recipient of award for the Vista del Este Water Distribution System, bid number 19028, contract number 2019-0673.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners, Fernie Hernandez with the Public Works Department. In an effort to basically streamline our process, we decided to do this where we put the contract on the same time as the award of the project. We've coordinated with the county attorney's office to try to make this, speed up this process a little bit better and hopefully look to save about 4 weeks of lag time between the actual award of the bid and the actual negotiation of the contract. This project is located in the Vista del Este subdivision located in our East Montana water system. We're looking to replace 355 residential domestic water connections along with the entire network infrastructure of the system. The project basically is $500,000 that we got from the BEC funding. And then we're also putting $1.4 million out of the East Montana Enterprise Action Fund. And if you have any questions, we'd like to hear them at this time, or we can proceed with the contract on that.
The judge, the 1.4 is coming out of the enterprise funds, you said?
Yes, sir.
I'll move to approve.
Second, but next time, Fernie, can you make the picture a little bit bigger?
Oh, yes, sir.
Man,
I apologize.
For my fellow commissioners.
Yeah, for everybody else, they're having problems. Did I second it already?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Perez.
Aye.
Commissioner Leon.
Aye.
Commissioner Stout.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Judge Samaniego.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fernie.
Item number 19, approve and authorize the purchasing agent to reject all responses. Close bid 19022, purchase and installation of 2 digital radiography X-ray equipment for the County of El Paso Sheriff's Department and resolicit with revised specifications.
Deborah Crejo, Troll County Purchasing Agent. In this case, I'm requesting permission to reject all responses to bid 19022. Although the bid went without a hitch, it was later in the legal review that it was discovered that possibly the county could have gone with a lower kilowatt type of unit, and that may have precluded some vendors from bidding, or may have just outright excluded them, because we understand there are some vendors out there. If you notice, there were only 2 bids. So we're hoping that by doing this, we'll not only get better pricing by more competition, but actually give the county what it can withstand in that related to those radiography units.
Yeah, always better have more than less, so.
Motion to approve to reject.
Second.
Commissioner Pettis.
Aye.
Commissioner Leon.
Aye.
Commissioner Stout.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Judge Samaniego.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Deborah.
Item number 20, Budget and Finance. Approve and authorize the revisions to the County of El Paso's financial policies for fiscal year 2020. At the request of the Budget and Fiscal Policy Department, we'd like to ask for this item to be deleted.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner Pettis.
Aye.
Commissioner Leon.
Aye.
Commissioner Stout.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Judge Samaniego.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 21, approve and authorize reallocation of capital funds.
Good afternoon, Judge Commissioners. Wally Hargrove from the Office of Budget and Fiscal Policy. At no less than an annual basis, the County Budget Office works with County Administration, our subject matter experts who participate in the capital improvement process, and all county departments. In looking back over our funding for the CIP penny under Capital Project 3001, we have identified over the past 3 years $1.527 million that may be swept into the miscellaneous object code for future allocation. Out of the CP12 bond projects, $121,000, and out of CP07, $41,000. The detail of each of those recommended closeouts and sweeps were provided in your backup. We would like to ask for your favorable consideration. This will, in total, reallocate $1.69 million available, as I mentioned, for future consideration.
And Wally, these completely close our 12 and 07?
So the three of the projects are from the 2012 bonds. 2 of the projects are from the 2007 bonds. The majority of these, just over $1.5 million, are out of your CIP bonds from 2017 all the way through 2019.
It doesn't close out those bonds, sir. It takes projects that were under those bonds and moves the money back to unallocated, and we will allocate it to existing projects that are still underway.
Correct.
Or to be completed that qualify under those bond orders.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Commissioner Pettis.
Aye.
Commissioner Leon.
Aye.
Commissioner Stout.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Judge Samaniego.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item number 22, approve amendment number 50 to the County of El Paso's 2018-2019 operating budget. This budgetary amendment will decrease special revenue by $120,448, increase grants by $1,765,997.26, thus increasing the overall budget of $456,209,553.48 to $457,855,102.74.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Wally Hargrove from the Office of Budget and Fiscal Policy. The backup for this week's budget amendment was sent to you with your weekly highlights. Were there any questions regarding this week's amendment?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Commissioner Pettis.
Aye.
Commissioner Leon.
Aye.
Commissioner Stout.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Judge Samaniego.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
This brings us to executive session, item number 23. Commissioners Court will recess into executive session to discuss items 23A through 23C pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.087. Commissioners Court will reconvene to take official action.
The Escarrete Golf Course has a new number. You can now call the Pro Shop for daily specials and tee time information at 915-771-2392.
The County of El Paso Public Works Department is offering sandbags at no cost or requirements to the public. The sandbags are outside of the facilities and are available 24 hours a day. The location of the county facilities are the following: the Road and Bridge Fabens Warehouse, located at 1331 North Fabens Street in Fabens, Texas, 79838. The Road and Bridge Canutillo Warehouse, located at 191 Canutillo Avenue in Canutillo, Texas, 79835. And the Road and Bridge Montana Warehouse, located at 14698 Van Lane, El Paso, Texas, 79938. Don't wait in line, pay online. Visit the Financial Recovery Division website at http://www.epcounty.com/budget/financialrecovery.htm to make your payments online or find out more about our kiosk locations. We now accept payments on misdemeanor, felony, and justice of the peace cases.
You can now watch Commissioners Court meetings on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and search for El Paso County Commissioners or El Paso County, Texas. Subscribe to our channels to see our latest videos.
Did you know the County of El Paso's Purchasing Department is responsible for ensuring that all items and services needed by various county departments are purchased in the manner required by the state of Texas? Whether through formal sealed bids or smaller dollar quotations, the county purchasing team is dedicated to finding the best contracting return on your taxpayer dollars. Additionally, the Purchasing Department is responsible for the tracking of inventory within the county and properly disposing surplus through public auctions. For questions about how to become a vendor and compete for county contracts, or to learn more about public auctions, please contact us at telephone number 915-546-2048.
The 346 District Court Judge Angie Juarez Barrid started the El Paso Veterans Treatment Court program in 2012 for veterans and active service members that have been arrested and charged with a felony or misdemeanor criminal offense. To be considered for this specialty court, the statutory criteria includes be a veteran or current member of the United States Armed Forces, including a member of the Reserves, National Guard, or State Guard, and suffer from a brain injury, mental illness, or mental disorder, including PTSD, or be a victim of military sexual trauma, all occurring or resulting from military service. Call Sylvia Serna, Veterans Program Director, at 915-546-2119, or email her at sserna@epcounty.com for any information.
Did you know that the County of El Paso's fixed asset control and inventory disposal is handled through the Purchasing Department? Throughout the course of each business year, the county holds live public auctions to dispose of aged equipment, vehicles, furniture, and other items that are no longer needed. To find out about upcoming auctions or to learn more about the county's inventory disposal process, contact the Purchasing Department at telephone number 915-546-2048.
Commissioners, Court has reconvened into regular open session. Item number 24, postponed September 9, 2019 and September 16, 2019. Approve and authorize the county judge to sign a First Amendment to the Chapter 381 Economic Development Agreement with SDI Technologies Incorporated, contract number 2019-0479. Could we have a motion to delete this item, please?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Perez.
Aye.
Commissioner Leon.
Aye.
Commissioner Stout.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Judge Samaniego.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 25, discuss and take appropriate action regarding a Chapter 381 agreement with Project CH. Judge, we do have one guest speaker that wanted to speak on this item as well.
Okay.
Mr. Richard Deub.
Mr. Deub.
Sure.
Judge, Commissioners, appreciate this opportunity to speak before you today, but I would stop right now and say, would you prefer I speak now or after I hear from the presentation? What is your preference? Because it doesn't matter to me either way. Now? Okay, thank you. Again, for the record, I'm Richard Deub. I am a registered lobbyist with the county, and I'm here representing my clients, the Hotel Paso del Norte, the Myers Group, and Richard Aguilar. We are grateful for this opportunity to consider our 381 application. As we have discussed with each of you, the Hotel Paso del Norte once again will become the centerpiece of downtown revitalization. The 351 deluxe rooms that the Hotel Paso del Norte will serve as the anchor hotel for national and state conventions and conferences. The Myers Group has made a long-term commitment to El Paso, investing in just this project alone $79 million and employing 300 full-time employees with an annual payroll of just over $7 million. During construction, the Myers Group is using local contractors and subcontractors, providing 165 full-time, highly compensated construction professionals. Additionally, when the Hotel Paso del Norte opens, it will be under the Marriott flag as the Marriott Autograph 4-star hotel. This is exactly the kind of flagship luxury hotel that El Paso has never, ever had. And as the staff of the El Paso Convention and Performing Arts Center, the Destination El Paso, and El Paso Live folks will confirm, the opening of the hotel is essential to their future success in recruiting key conferences to El Paso, which will dramatically increase our sales tax and our hotel occupancy tax. The brochures that I provided to you this past Friday, which I hope all of you have had a chance to see, provide the renderings, excuse me, and illustrations of the grandeur of the property that we will have, including the public areas, such as the famed Dome Bar, the Dome Dining Room, the Grand Ballroom, the 10th floor pool, spa, and casual dining and lounges. An entire floor is dedicated to that kind of entertainment, which also is a draw for the local community as well. And all the rooms, including the deluxe suites, the junior suites, and of course the governor and presidential suites. We hope that you will join the city of El Paso and the state of Texas, who have jointly committed nearly $32 million to ensure the success of this critical project. The county's participation will send a strong statement that it is a critical partner in El Paso's future economic growth. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr.
I'm available for any questions that you may have.
Judge, Commissioners, it's my understanding you'd like no action on this item at this time?
That's what took place. Thank you. No action at this time.
Item number 25, no action. Judge, that completes all our items on the agenda.
Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
This concludes today's meeting at 12:16 p.m.
can now watch Commissioners Court meetings on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and search for El Paso County Commissioners or El Paso County, Texas. Subscribe to our channels to see our latest videos.